Welcome to the Uncommon Woman Network, a talk show network of the uncommon, unlikely chosen generation, where a radical space and collective opens unceasing pursuit that calls forward the significance waiting for you. Listen, I'm your show host, Jessie Liv, direct leader of Dallas Lighthouse Revival Training Center, planted in Central South Dallas of Texas, founder of Liberate the Flame International, owner and CEO of Liv Company, a 5-year flourishing kingdom store and business. I'm a world travel itinerant speaker and mama to my most favorite person in the entire world, my Lily Grace. So listen, welcome to your next mark and your new beginning of the uncommon destiny that is on your life. Welcome. Here we are, igniting another episode, airing, are you going to take your life's permission back? You know, I added this show under society and culture for a reason, because I have a total, pure, and righteous fire to break into society and culture, not to create subtle change, but catalytic shifts. There's this birthright DNA that whether I try for it or I don't try for it, it reaches for the taboo, the untouchable systems, and it makes it realize, oh, it absolutely can be touched and invaded with the truth of God, and it will. So with that said, I want to share that the birthright of your personal DNA, of your destiny's DNA, of your authentic DNA is intentional for what you're supposed to do. It's your design by life. It is the reason that you breathe. It's the reason why you're purposed in the planet on this earth by the hands of God. But what I'm talking about on the inside of me is like a literal alarm. Some of you might experience this. Some of you might also share in a likeness to it. But it's like a tangible wake-up call system that gets the programming, like the download, and knows exactly when it's time to sound the alarm. This is that. Today, this new airing episode is 100% that. And it's just time for all of you that are listening to take back your authentic permission to do what you were designed and called to do. All right? So listen, I hope I'm not too rowdy this morning for just the beginning of our show network, but I just need 10 people, 10 uncommon people listening to type in the chat below, I have permission to go ahead and get me back. I have permission to go ahead and get me back. Where is your birthright? Did you sell it? For what? Your friend had because it looked better? Did you like what was on the other side of the fence? So you decided to throw up or abandon your own post. You chose to leave behind who you really were because of what somebody else had, looked better, looked greater, looked like a better life, looked like a better scenario, looked like a better culprit to actually tag on to what you were called to do in this earth. Now, I'm not trying to step on no toes, but I have an issue with relevance and socialization in today's population because it modifies our personal destiny scroll. Can I just say that one more time for the people in the back? Relevance and socialization in today's population modifies our personal destiny scroll minute by minute, every day we wake up, every minute that we fall asleep or we lay our head on that bed at night. Relevance and socialization, being socially popular or being socially relevant to what the times of today call for, literally strip our authenticity and our divine tailored identity. And it is a problem. I see it all the time in Christian circles. I see it all the time in media. I see it all the time in life, in relationships, in friendships, in workplaces, in the marketplace, in grocery stores. I literally see people trying to be things that they're not. I see them doing things that they're not fit to do because it's relevant or because it's just what's calling the shots for that minute and it's just what would give them the approval for the season. We choose what's famous, what's trending, what's relevant, and we allow modification to enter into our space to modify our purpose from what's visual and observative of others. You can literally watch people, my God, right now, you could literally observe an entire person, the way they work, the way they talk to somebody throughout a day conversation, the way they communicate, the way they socialize, the way their giftings and their talents run. And if you're not secure in your worth, I'm not just here to talk about identity, because sometimes you got to get through the root and the bank of worth before you can even wake up to the fact of who you are. Sometimes it's a worth issue. It's not an identity crisis. Sometimes it's a worth issue. Not all the time is it an identity crisis. And I guarantee you, comparison today, what's popular, what's relevant, is based upon what's cool, what's approved, what people are going to like, because that's ultimately what people are trying to get, likes. People are trying to gain and are hungry and thirsty for what is known, what's popular, because it's what's most likely liked. This is called the Uncommon Woman Podcast because the most uncommon things and the most uncommon people that are out there are in a generation where they do not care about popularity. They do not care about social normalcy. They absolutely are bothered by what's relevant, and they are activists and vocalists about everything contrary to what's relevant. And they call forth what is actually catalytic shifts in networks and in culture and in subject topics and in communicative work and in conversative pieces that really need to be highlighted in this genre for a wake-up call, for the sound of an alarm, so that people can recognize that we're not in this pincushion of a world, but that there actually is color, there actually is uniqueness, there actually is permission for people to flow to a different stream, for others to march to the beat of a different drum, for the square peg to actually not fit in the round hole and it be okay, and nobody have a analysis where they're completely getting themselves torn up in the mind and in torment and in this fear perception that if they're going a different way than what the crowd is going, then something's wrong. Wow, how many of us have been wired since we were born to not fit in a populated circle? You were actually the one outside of those circles, and when you were outside those circles, you thrived. You thrived in the underdog area. You thrived doing the things that not everybody was doing. You were your top shine. Whoo! You were at your peak, shining above the rest, just because you were somewhere that the majority wasn't. And because you were chosen to be the minority in that subject, in that area, in that vein, you were actually the majority of it and in it because nobody else was there to do it the way you do it, to say it the way you say it, and to create it the way you are to create it. That's powerful. That is huge. But what we see today right now is we move towards our personal destiny to put it in a frame, to place it inside comparison, and apply it with a little covetousness. Oh, I said it. What does this sound like? Can we think on what this kind of sounds like? Our famous known Bible story of two people, two brothers. Jacob wanted Esau's inheritance to get what he had because it looked like more, and he didn't like what he got. So we've got to stop building our brother's inheritance and learn and be okay and be settled in building our own. We've got to understand to be confident and grab hold and claim the permission that we actually do acquire and run with it in our own lane. Because if I can say it like this, I keep seeing so many copycats all around me. It's almost like that's the fab thing to do, is it's to look like everybody. It's to literally mimic somebody's ministry. It's to mimic somebody else's business product or marketing agenda or marketing skills. Or it's to mimic a product that somebody created that was the first to create it, and now they feel they've got to mimic it because it was the next cool thing to do. Instead of being inspired by it, putting their own twist on it, doing something completely far left field with something similar, making it their own, they could have created their own innovation and could have made top dollar if they are an entrepreneur or if they are a business person. But instead, what they're doing is they're copying, they're mimicking, they're taking, they're stealing, they're watching, they're observing, and they're modifying their DNA and their purpose, all because they want what their brother has. So yet they're building what their brothers have, and they're not seeing the fulfillment in their life, and they're empty. They're empty. How many of us that are listening this morning are empty because we're doing things we don't feel wired to do? We are acting like somebody that we were never intended to be. We were wearing masks. We were wearing somebody else's garments. We were fulfilling somebody else's shoes. All because we've watched, we've observed, and now because we've heard the talk and we've watched their walk, we're now emphasizing what they are doing into our framed vision, and yet two opposite worlds are coexisting together. And nothing's moving. Nothing's fruitful. Nothing is joyful. Nothing is producing provision. Nothing is satisfying because we're doing something we were never supposed to do. This is all a prime example of not seeing the worth in ourselves. This is what it really boils down to. And I want to tell you that you have the opportunity right now to change your whole world just by listening to what's airing today. It's a mindset of lack and worthlessness that says, I don't have it to do it. So let me copy somebody that does have it. And if I can pretend long enough, it will get me by and further along rather than me doing nothing, because they feel like they're worthless and devalued in the potential area to actually succeed. So they write off succeeding in their own vision, and they take frames, pieces, parts of someone else's and apply it to a fraction of what they know that they're called to do, and they're walking into opposite forces. And when this screams that we have less than, I'm telling you, that's not an identity issue. That is a value issue. When we are not understanding that we carry treasure, then we got to go sticking our hands and our toes into somebody else's treasure to make us shine, instead of recognizing that we shine standing in our purpose alone. And now I'm not talking alone in solidarity where you're literally alone and no one's around you. I'm talking about you and what you're called to do in the way that God called you to do it, has the ability and the capacity to shine without taking the shine from someone else. Ooh. Now, I'm not trying to preach to nobody today. I'm trying to help somebody today. But authenticity, now hear me, is a standard that will absolutely be on fire this season. The fire's gonna get hot. I'm speaking prophetically. Come on, somebody. If you got the Holy Ghost, you know what I'm saying. The fire will be on the standard of authenticity this season. In 2024, the things that are not you will absolutely burn and fade out, because God's too good of a God that he simply won't allow you to fade away. That he will cause the wrestle on the inside of you to wrestle long enough. He will cause the tension to sit over you long enough where the pressure gets weighty, gets heavy enough to where you decide, It's not worth this anymore. It is worth me doing what I'm created to do and the things in my heart that I love to do without fear, without the setup of preset and premeditated disappointment. And it allows space to be free in trust. Whatever happens will happen, but my God, I gotta just jump. For the sake of my cause in life, I've got to just risk being me because I'm done risking being something else. Now, either one has a price. The first one, you risking being who you really are, might risk you for a moment, for a temporary season while you're building it, while you're pioneering it, while you're doing the things nobody's doing, while you're sounding like nobody else is sounding. But I promise you, the risk pretending to be something else will cost you greater in the long run. It will cost you far more. It will cost you time. It will cost you years. It will cost you your present life because you're too busy chasing fame, chasing the things of possession and vain glory that you miss what's right in front of you right here, right now in the present because you're too busy observing and chasing what's ahead, what's up there, what others are looking like and doing, that you miss embracing the present. If you're chasing, you lack embracing. You've got to embrace you and where you are in this present moment. Now, I want to share this. Give her the fruit of her hands, and let her works praise her in the gates. What am I reading from? Proverbs 31:31. Now, I love those numbers. That's just prophetic in itself. But let's illuminate this and what it's saying. It is saying, I'm going to read it to you one more time. Give her the fruit of her hands. Let her works praise her in the gates. Now, we are pulling off this even being about women. This is targeted to all people, all right? This is not a topic geared to just women. Anybody can listen to this episode and benefit. But I feel like, okay, because I can't not bring in a scripture, being a Christian, being a believer, talking about society and culture, and not bring the right order to what we're talking about in topic. Now, Proverbs 31:31 is referencing, okay, a whole lot. So let's just break it down for a second. Because if you have Holy Ghost knowledge, you could recognize and would recognize that gates in context is a metron term. It is absolutely an influential, governmental context word that literally means, when you go and study that word, the root of that word, and you dig deep about that word means court of tabernacle, a doorway of a city, a divine entrance where the praise of God escorts you through an influential threshold. My goodness, this is a condition that the fruit of the hands of the individual, the labor of their personal service, of their own works, gave them divine resource. You can't get it, all right? You cannot divinely receive influence, blessing, or any other type of manifestation of fulfillment copying somebody else's work, modifying your DNA and destiny, and applying something to you that does not belong to you. We have no business taking what we like and condensing mixture. Oh, but we live with mixture. We see it all throughout mainstream circles, mainstream popularity, mixture. Nobody has their authentic hand amidst what they're doing. It's a little bit of theirs, it's a little bit of that, it's a little bit of so-and-so's, and it's a little bit of how that person says it, how that person moves, and how that person dresses. Oh my goodness, it's a mess. If you got to copy it to get it, you'll have to live a lie to maintain it. If you have to copy something to get it, you will have to constantly live a lie to maintain it because it's not in your grace to do. Let me encourage you right where you are. You can drop the counterfeit copy version of you right now. You can leave the garments of yesterday, 5 years ago, even this morning. Up until you came and you put this show on and you put your ears to this network, everything prior can just be at the dirt. It can kick rocks, my friend. And in fact, I want to create a challenge for you right now. What would it look like if you spent the next 5 days, no social media, no television, no phone, and you sat with nobody and nothing else but you in your ear and heaven in your midst, and you pursued space to reevaluate where you're going, where you're headed? You would rest. You would take a minute and some moments to process whether you're present or whether you are running a hamster wheel race after tomorrow, trying to pursue decades, years, and destinations ahead of you that you're missing life right in front of you as who you are supposed to be. And if you took these next 5 days and in your space, you've allowed God to speak. You have allowed prayer to fulfill your time. Your whole life could change in 5 days, and it can. But it's up to you to be free in the uncommon destiny fit only for you. I know you can. I know you can. I know you can do it. And if you don't do it, then we continue to feed the wrong system and motivate and mobilize this cycle all over again. And our generations, within our children, within our legacy, within those that are watching us, with our example. And what does that have to speak? What kind of fruit is that leaving on the tree of our legacy? Because if you understand this, your destiny is not only for you. Your destiny is for the legacies behind you, before you, and all around you. Who you are right now speaks to everybody's existence. So if you're not the greatest version of you, then the person next to you doesn't have the radar to recognize their greater version of themselves, because authenticity, it is known as a study. They just launched this the end of 2023. They did a scientific research study, scientists have, when they were studying the human anatomy and the body and the way emotions work and pulsate through a human being. And for the longest time, they have recorded that love was at the highest frequency of a human person, until suddenly they refabricated the tests again with higher magnitudes of technology. They've had more invasive studies and research, and they've applied what they've seen, what they've observed, what they've taken into consideration with other brain geniuses. And they've sat together in a circle, and after all of the tests were said and done, they have recognized that the highest frequency that pulsates through a human being is when they are authentic. When they are at their highest self, their highest person, meaning like their best of their best. They are walking in who they are. I ain't talking all any other kind of crazy mess, so don't be trying to twist what I'm saying. We're not dealing with no new age business. What I am talking about is your peak of who you are in your confidence. The peak, the highest peak of your authentic creation pulsates at the highest frequency of a person. That speaks huge, tremendous to the importance and the vital just time for us to truly be who we authentically are in the earth, so that it can resound throughout generations, people that we love, friends, people that we don't even know, people that are hard to love. My gosh. And just this alone could shift culture and change the world. Listen, I thank you for listening today. This was actually a footnote from my mentorship, The Empowered Woman. We've been running this mentorship, going through this mentorship since July of 2023. So if you are interested and you feel you need to be mentored and in a community on a regular basis, monthly, we are together every single week on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. I'm going to drop the link below in this description. Listen, this is for women only. Now, this mentorship is strictly for women. It is a women's mentorship group. And we are live on Zooms. We have so many other things throughout the week. We encourage one another. And many women from all over the world have experienced, I'm talking transformation. I don't even want to give the word breakthrough. Divine, complete transformation in their mindsets, in the way that they think, in the way that they see life, in the way that they view their circumstances. I don't care what kind of circumstances are going on around about you. How your mind works and how you see it changes your world. It could be absolute hell all around your life. But because you think different and you see differently, you have the tools to overcome it. You have the tools to see it as an opportunity instead of as a pit. It changes the whole strategy on how you maneuver and you walk through it. So I want to see you there. I will make sure to post that link in the description below. Make sure that you guys support this episode, this network. You guys can support by the lovely tab up above where it says support this podcast and help this podcast to continue to make more podcasts and more episodes. You can just click that support button. That'd be great. And we will see you on the next episode. I can't wait to be with you. We have powerful, powerful interviews coming up with some very amazing people that will change your life. So make sure that you tune in for those things, and we will give you some of those updates. Make sure you also give us some feedback in the feedback box below. Make sure you tell us what you thought about this episode. Make sure you tell us your thoughts. Let us know how it helped you. Let us know what you would continue to like to hear that will continue to help you, and we will be there for you in this space. So thank you so much. I will see you on the remainder of this uncommon journey with you.